Google AI comes in three different plans: a free plan, a pro plan, which costs $20 a month, and their ultra plan, which is $250 a month. I personally think that Gemini is one of the best AI chatbots out there, but in this video, I want to dive in and talk about what you get with each of these three plans and whether it's worth upgrading to one of the paid ones or not. Now, what makes a Google AI subscription so unique is that it doesn't just upgrade your Gemini experience. It actually reaches far into Google's entire ecosystem. Things like Gmail, Google Docs, and even Google Search. But since when most people think about Google AI, they actually think about Gemini, let's start here. And one of the first things you'll notice if you're on a free Gemini plan is that you actually get access to a whole lot here. But you may still run into limits depending on how much you use Gemini. So for instance, generating things like images, if you ask it to create something for you, it's going to use the top model, which is currently Nano Banana Pro. And it's going to allow you to use that about 3 or 4 times per day. And then you're going to hit a limit that usually resets after a few hours or after an entire day. But after that, you still are able to generate images. It's just going to use a weaker model to do that. By contrast, on a pro plan, you get up to 100 image generations per day using Nano Banana Pro. Now, that is an up to limit. A lot of times it's actually lower than that depending on demand. Either way, though, it's going to be a lot more than you get on the free plan. And then on the ultra plan, you'll get up to 1,000 image generations per day using Nano Banana Pro. So certainly if you're looking to generate a lot of images, you at least want to go with the pro plan to get access to the top model and get a lot of image generations on the pro plan. Now, in addition to that, you also get access to video generation as well. On the free plan, it doesn't allow you to generate any videos. But with the pro plan, you'll be able to generate videos using VO 3.1 fast. And from my experience, you get about 3 video generations per day on the pro plan. And on Ultra, you get access to VO 3.1 and higher limits on that as well. Now, if you don't care about images and videos and you just want to use this as an everyday chatbot, you're going to have plenty of access on the free plan of Gemini. In fact, you're going to be able to continually chat with it without any interruptions or without hitting any limits. But you will be limited in the features that are available and the models that you have access to. For instance, when you start a new chat, you'll notice that down here on the bottom right, you can choose between Gemini 3 Fast, Thinking, and Pro. And you'll always have access to Fast. However, Thinking and Pro are the two models that are limited when you are on the free plan. And I find that they are quite limited on the free plan. Now, personally, when I'm using Gemini on one of my paid accounts, either my Pro or my Ultra account, I'm always leaving it on Thinking because I just find that it gives much better answers. And I think with the Pro account, you get about 300 prompts per day on Thinking. And on the Ultra account, you get something like 1,500. Either way, it's really hard to hit the limits on the paid accounts when you have Thinking enabled. You'll also see an option here for Pro. This is really for advanced math and coding. Personally, I never use it. I just don't find that it's really relevant for the type of work that I do or the type of prompts that I put in here. But just know that on the free plan, you do get a few of these every single day that you can use. For the Pro ones and the Ultra ones, it's going to be much higher. But again, I think for most people, they're not going to use Pro, so this shouldn't be a deciding factor. But certainly if you're into advanced mathematics or coding and you find yourself using Pro a lot or wanting to use it a lot, that might be a good reason to upgrade. The other frustrating thing about switching between these three models is that some days, if you're on the free plan, you'll notice that you're able to chat with the thinking model, let's say, a lot, and it feels like you don't hit the limit on it. And other days you do hit the limit. And that's just because the limit moves every single day for the free plan. It really depends on the demand. So if you don't want to kind of be at the whims of that, you definitely want one of the paid subscriptions. Now, moving over here on the left inside of Gemini, this is going to be exactly the same no matter what plan you're on. You're going to be able to upload files, add things from Drive, add photos, or connect up with NotebookLM. What's different though is the context size. On the free plan, your context is limited, I think, just to 32,000 tokens. So basically what that means is that it's limited in how much information it can retain to help you answer your questions. Contrast that with the paid plans like the Pro subscription. Their context is 1 million. Basically what that means is that you can upload larger files into the Pro and Ultra subscription. You could have longer instructions, you could have longer conversations because it's able to remember a lot more during a single conversation. That for a lot of people is huge. If you work with large documents, maybe you're like a lawyer or you do a lot of contracts of some kind, anything super dense like that you're uploading, you're gonna want that larger context. Other than that though, nothing else is really different here. Next to that, we have the tools section, and this is definitely where there are some differences. So first of all, on the Pro plan and the Ultra plan, you're gonna see create videos here. You're not gonna see that on the free plan. We talked about that. Images we talked about. Canvas and guided learning are going to be the same, but what is different is deep research. Deep research is basically a way to produce lengthy reports. Here's one example in my Ultra plan. You can see that I asked it to give me some information about fly fishing, a certain form of fly fishing in my area in the winter. And here you can see that it created this super dense, elaborate, extensive report, complete with diagrams and all citations. We have charts in here as well. So tons of information. These aren't quick answers. These usually take several minutes to generate. Now on a free plan, you only get access to, I believe, 5 of these every single month. And on the Pro plan, you get 20 a day. And on the Ultra plan, you get 200 per day. So certainly if you're into doing a lot of research, you definitely want one of the paid subscriptions. However, just understand what you're getting. These are extremely detailed, dense reports. If you're just looking for general information, a lot of people aren't going to need these deep research reports. You can still come over to your free Gemini and ask it something like, what should I know about fly fishing on the Front Range in the winter, which is basically the same question. I have thinking turned on, and as long as you haven't hit your thinking limit for the day, you're still going to get a really good answer. I mean, check this out. This is an awesome looking answer, complete with a map that they put together for me, lots of links to different locations where I might want to fly fish, and all of this was completely free. And if for some reason I do need a more in-depth report, well, I do get those 5 deep research reports every single month. There's also another tool in here called Visual Layout. Basically what this does is when you ask a question like, what are the best hikes around you? It's going to give you an answer that's a lot more visual with all these different images and everything broken down into different sections, kind of clickable and just be more interactive. And they usually reference YouTube videos as well. It's sort of nice if you're more of a visual learner. Personally, I find it's one of those things that sort of has that wow factor that looks really cool the first time you use it. And then in practice, I just don't use this that often. It takes a little bit longer to generate, and I just don't find it's all that much more helpful, but it really depends on what you're looking for. Certainly something like a hike where you actually want to be seeing where you're going hiking, it certainly would make a difference. On the free plan, you get 25 of these a day, and on the pay plans, you get 250 of them a day. But other than that, for the tools, those are the only differences between the free plan and the Pro plan. But when we jump over to Ultra, you'll notice here that there are a few additional tools. The first one is called DeepThink. So Gemini DeepThink is an advanced reasoning mode that actually creates multiple AI agents that are simultaneously going to work on your problem for you. And it's really designed for highly complex problems for areas like math, coding, and scientific research. You get up to 10 prompts a day on the Ultra plan. And like I said, this is not available on the other 2 plans. Do I think this is worth it? For most people, absolutely not. Most people absolutely do not need this. I've only used this once to test it out and never really had another need for it. The other tool in here is called Agent. And this one actually is really cool and helpful. Basically, it autonomously plans, reasons, and executes multi-step tasks using tools like web browsing. You get 200 requests per day on the Ultra plan, and you can have 3 tasks running at the same time. Do I think this is awesome? Absolutely. Do I think it's $250 awesome? Absolutely not. Especially when you can achieve similar results using ChatGPT agents or Perplexity agents, and those just cost you $20 a month. But this next feature I think actually is worth it, and those are scheduled activities. If you come over to a paid plan and click on the settings down here, you'll notice these things called scheduled actions. And these are basically prompts that are given to Gemini at the same time every single day, week, or month. These are really helpful for things that you do every single day. You don't want to have to send the prompt to Gemini. It will just work on it on its own at the same time every day. And these are not available on the free plan. These, I think, are actually super helpful and a really good reason to upgrade if you find yourself doing the same type of task every single day. Let's step away from Gemini now and take a look at some of the other Google tools that now have access to AI features. So the first one is NotebookLM. NotebookLM is one of my favorite AI tools that has ever been created. If you want a full in-depth guide on how to use it, check out this video right here and you'll see exactly why I love this so much. But just know that if you're on the free plan, you get a lot of access to NotebookLM. Pretty much everything you need you're going to be able to do on the free plan. But if you upgrade to a paid plan, you do get higher access, higher usage limits, and you can do things like have more audio overviews, which are one of my favorite features of NotebookLM. A paid subscription will also give you access to Gemini inside of Google Docs, which is extremely helpful. This is basically now like your AI writing companion, built right into the place where you already take notes and do your writing. There are a couple other tools that are sort of experimental that you get access to with your Google account. So the first one is called Flow. This is an AI-powered filmmaking tool, but you can also use it to create images. And then we have Google Whisk, which is an experimental AI image generation tools. I've sort of lumped these together because you share credits between these two tools. On the free plan, you get 100 credits per month, which works out to about 10 images or 1 or 2 videos, depending on which model you use. With the Pro subscription, you get 1,000 credits, which is about 100 images or between 10 and 50 videos, again, depending on which model you use. And then on the Ultra subscription, you get 25,000 credits, which is 240 videos for the most expensive model, and something like 2,500 videos for the cheaper video generation model, so it's plenty. And also with the Ultra plan, you get unlimited access to Nano Banana Pro. It doesn't count against your credits. And maybe best of all, when you generate images using an Ultra plan, either inside of Flow or inside of Gemini, there are no watermarks in the bottom right-hand corner like there are with the free plan and even with the Pro plan as well. Google also says that if you're on the paid plans, especially on Ultra, you get priority access to all their latest features before anyone else. Some of these aren't all that useful. For instance, you get access to something called Project Mariner, which is basically like an agent. I haven't really found too much of a use for this. It seems very similar to the agents that's built into Gemini, but you do get access to it on the Ultra plan. In addition to that, you get something called Personal Intelligence. This is available for both Pro and Ultra users and is not available on the free plan. Basically, this connects all your different Google tools, Gmail, Calendar, Drive. So when you ask Gemini a question, it will connect the dots between all of them. So if you have an upcoming trip, you can ask Gemini to put together an itinerary for you. It's going to go through your calendar. It'll know when your trip is. It will then go through your Gmail. It'll see what flights you've booked, what hotels you've booked, put together the itinerary for you and tell you what else you need to do. So far, since I've been using Personal Intelligence, I think it is fantastic and one of Google's best features that they've rolled out so far for Gemini. Moving over to Gmail, luckily Google has just added AI features into Gmail. Even if you're on the free plan, these used to be paid, but even on the free plan, you get this thing called Help Me Write. So basically you can just tell it what kind of response you want. Click on create and it'll write out an answer for you. You can also do other things like formalize any writing you already have in there, elaborate or shorten it. So that's super helpful. What you're going to get on the paid plan though that you don't get on the free plan is the search is a lot better. It actually uses AI to search, but that's about the only difference. Google search is also a little bit different. You obviously have Google search on the free plan, but what you'll notice now there is a new AI mode right here. And with this, it actually enhances the search using AI. These are pretty much the same on the paid plans. However, on the paid plans, you also get access to that personal intelligence. So the responses are going to be more personalized to you. and you get increased usage of the top models in the search results as well. And then finally, there are like a couple other benefits to the paid plans. So if you're on the Pro plan, you get 2 terabytes of storage across all your different apps like Google Photos, Drive, and Gmail. On the Ultra subscription, that is 30 terabytes of storage. And on the Ultra subscription, it also comes with YouTube Premium included. So let's answer the big question. Should you stick with the free plan or should you upgrade to Pro? The truth is, for a lot of people, free is going to be fine if you just use it as a basic chatbot, maybe use it to help you write some emails or help with some homework. But you are going to hit rate limits with it and model downgrades, especially on heavier days. With Pro, the primary benefits are that you're going to get access to better models and more access to Gemini and AI features across all your different apps. And this is especially helpful if you find yourself using Nano Banana Pro for image generation quite a bit. You just get access to so many features with the Pro subscription for just $20 a month. Even little things like having increased audio overviews inside of NotebookLM, that's one of my favorite features. Now, I don't think it's worth $20 a month, but we're stacking features here, and that's what makes it worth it. Of all the other AI models out there, Gemini and Google AI just gives you access to so much across so many different apps. And all of those stacked together, yeah, I think that is worth the Pro subscription for a lot of people. Now, you have to make that decision for yourself, but luckily Google does make it easy to do that. I suggest you just start with the free plan. Use it for a couple of weeks and then sign up for the Pro plan because as you see, Google often gives you an entire month of Pro absolutely for free. And if you're a student in college, you get an entire year for Pro for free. So of course, that is a no-brainer. So try it out for a month, really use all of its features, and then go back to the free plan and see if you missed it as much as I did. Personally, I think the Pro plan is absolutely worth it. But what about Google AI Ultra? It is 12 times the price of Pro, so is it 12 times better? Well, the core chat experience inside of Gemini isn't dramatically better than it is on Pro. Now, Ultra does come with things like I showed you, like agents, but again, you can get that for $20 a month using ChatGPT or Perplexity. You get watermark removal on Ultra, but all you have to do is download your images from Pro, upload them to Canva, and for $15 a month, you can erase those watermarks really easily. DeepThink comes with Ultra, but for most people, that's not going to be helpful. I think Ultra only really makes sense if you have a lot of heavy usage of image or video generation, or for some reason you need a lot of storage. The other main benefit of Google AI Ultra that was promised to me when I signed up was that I was supposed to get priority access to new features. And that's actually the main reason I signed up for it. As a content creator who talks about AI quite a bit, I wanted to get access to all the newest features as soon as they came out so I could talk about them in my videos. And that was promised to me by an Ultra subscription. But unfortunately, that just never really panned out. There have been many features that have rolled out over the past couple of months that I still don't have access to. Now, I know a lot of those features are still in beta and they're with a small group of beta users. However, as far as I'm concerned, if I'm an Ultra subscriber paying $250 a month, I should be able to join the beta program, no questions asked, but that's not the case. In addition to that, a lot of features that I did get in the Ultra plan early were soon released to me on my Pro account just a couple of days later. So really for that, it just doesn't seem worth it. But what about you? Are you using the free plan of Gemini, the Pro plan, or the Ultra plan? And why? Let me know in the comment section down below. And hey, if you made it this far in the video, you must have liked something about it. So please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel as well, because I make videos like this all the time where I review different AI tools and tell you my honest opinions on them. So if you're interested in that, definitely make sure you subscribe, and then I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.